everyone, and welcome to the Theater of Football. I'm Mike Hodem, and I'm joined once again by Jeremy Forbes. Hello, Jeremy.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Pretty good. Coming off the back of a United victory over West Brom, unconvincingly, but a victory nonetheless. 3 points, first 3 points at Old Trafford in the league. Jeremy, what did you make of the performance?
I was a little bit disappointed as a whole with the team's kind of almost like inconsistency in regards to coming out and being aggressive and being a little bit lackluster in some of their attention, because there's moments where Rashford and Martial would normally control brilliant passes from Bruno way better than what they did, and it just seems like that they still have a little bit of an issue with um, confidence of playing at home right now, and I don't know if that's from boosted from all of the extra media and commentary about, oh well, they're playing at home and you know how they don't play so well at home.
Yeah, I think as far as the poor performance at home, hopefully just getting the result will make a big difference. And
And get
we'll
and get the monkey off the back, as per se.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk a little bit more about how the media portrays us in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to touch upon the two penalty decisions. Well, one ended up not being a penalty, another one was a penalty, and it ended up being retaken. What did you make of all that?
Hmm. I I had a lot of mixed views about it. Um, in my opinion, I'm trying to be unbiased, but it is, I'll say in this regards, it is a little bit difficult because I think if they had given it, I felt like it would have been harsh, but maybe another ref would have given it. The issue I do have was with how much the commentators during that game were wanting it to make it seem like there's no way that he should have made that call, which I don't know if I agree with that. Like I said, if they had given it, I think it might have been a little bit harsh, but okay, I would have gone with it. But there were some things that I saw that I don't know if you agree with. I really felt like the player played for it and was not actually in a position where there was as much contact as you would think. Like I think he just shoved out his leg and kind of dropped, and I do think Bruno got the ball a little bit. Whether there's still a little bit of shin to shin, I couldn't say. It was a little tough for me with that video, but I'm trying to remain unbiased. What did you think?
I kind of agree with you. The problem that the fact that it was given on the pitch and then it went to VAR. Once it was given on the pitch and it went to VAR, I thought it would stand. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
close enough where I didn't think it would be a clear and considered clear and obvious. But I
Mm-hmm.
did think he got the ball, and if there was any contact with the shin, it was minimal, and the player just dropped to the ground when he had his feet completely underneath himself. There would be absolutely no reason for him to fall to the ground, even if there was
Yeah,
even no
how he
contact
did,
there.
as
But
dramatic as he did, there was no reason for that. I felt the same way. And I don't think there was an extremely aggressive, harsh challenge by Bruno on him to begin with for all of that. So I thought it was theatrical, and maybe that's what the ref thought as well. Like, for all the theatrics, for all you kicking out your leg and all of that, and there still be a point where he could see that Bruno got the touched the ball, like you said, even if there was a minimal shin to shin contact, he might have looked at all that and said, "Oh, you're actually really playing for it more than playing with the ball or playing for the ball."
it was disappointing because the instead of acting and falling to the ground, he was actually in a good position after he kind of miscontrolled it, and then Bruno got the slightest of touches where he could have turned and kept Bruno behind him and had a shot at goal, or potentially drew Bruno into more contact, which definitely would have been a Stonewall
Mm-hmm.
penalty at that
But I
point.
don't think he
So
was. I don't think that was his mindset, though.
no. Not at all.
His only mindset was not, oh, do I still have the potential to be playing this? But no, this is our best option and chance for us to get a goal and maybe to beat United like how Arsenal beat United.
Yep, I agree with you there. And as far as the other decision at the other end with the handball, I mean, I I don't think there's can be any complaints. I mean, the defender's off, the hand was in a unnatural position. He had it like up here just because he's trying to turn to shield his body. It still ended up making him bigger, and it was in an natural position. So once that goes to VAR, I think that had to be given.
Yep, and they did say that, you know, all the commentators or the other ref that they asked, oh, would you have given it? They did say that yes, as the rule stands now, it seems like they've changed it a little bit. And when they look at it like that, this is exactly what you said. If it's not in a natural position or behind your back, then it will be given. They were making it sound like, oh, now teaching defenders that your arms have to be behind your back when you're, you know, trying to block things is going to be difficult. But I'm just like, why are you making something more than what it has to be? At the end of the day, you know, players, yes, want to try to protect their bodies, but you can't protect them by using your hand. So, like, whatever you're going to do, like, yeah, protect your body, but then have your hand down. Like, if your hand, even with he turned his back, if his hand was further down, maybe not, but his hand was fairly high up. It was definitely past his waist. So
it was up by his shoulder.
It's not even coming down. Like, it's not pointing down.
No, it was definitely in a natural position by any stretch of the imagination, in my opinion. But
yeah. I know there's going to be lots of controversy about, you know, I think the first one more than the second one. But like I said, I think it's a break that we deserved, because I don't think Bruno's challenge was reckless like how, say, Pogba's was. I don't think it was overly aggressive, and I do feel like he did get some of the ball, even if some slight contact with the player.
Yeah, well, I think it wasn't dangerous play, obviously, and it wasn't, and he definitely got a small piece of the ball. I believe before there was any contact with the player, I heard the commentator say, "Well, he got his shin before the ball." I was like, I didn't see that at all. I
don't know about that one.
Nick on the ball, and then just follow through ever so slightly, barely onto the player's shin, and it wasn't enough for the player to go down. And like I said, I thought if he doesn't go down, if he sticks with the play, like he probably would if he was in the middle of the pitch. He was in a good position to have Bruno on his back and to get a left-footed shot away. So, I once it got given, I didn't think it would be reversed. So I think we were a little fortunate there. But did I think it was a penalty per se? I don't think so.
I just find it really funny, and I know you said we're gonna switch into talking some more about this kind of stuff here soon. But I think this is a slightly different than what you're talking about. I just find it funny that when people are commentating games against United, or the media is talking about things with United, it always has to be first kind of like anti, or anything where they would want it to go against and not go for, or they're always talking in a negative light towards the club first before, say, a positive light or giving the benefit of the doubt. It always has to be, the kind of bad, negative, shouldn't have gone their way. Oh, only good things go their way, which we can clearly see have not been the case these past, 5-6 seasons. So I just find it really, really bizarre that keeps happening. There's such anti love and hate for the club.
No, that was exactly where I was going, because I watched Arsenal play Leeds earlier today, and Arsenal's display in that match rivaled some of our worst displays this season, if not maybe even worse. They were to be playing a newly promoted side. I get we played West Brom yesterday and kind of got through with a fortunate 1-0 win, but we didn't get pinned back. Arsenal were pinned back, and I'm not talking after they were down to 10 men. Like that first
Mm-hmm.
half, probably the last 30 minutes of the first half, they defended.
Yeah.
And if that was us, the commentators would say,
Oh, field day.
yeah, they'd be, oh, this is a terrible United performance. Who knows what they can do to improve upon it? And the commentators are like, oh, they're just sitting back. They're just showing Leeds some respect that they deserve. And Arteta will get him in the locker room and make the necessary changes at halftime. Yeah, he got him in the locker room. Then Pepe went straight out and got his ass sent off. Good job, Arteta.
Well, the one thing that I was surprised about, and it was more towards the end of the game, was the commentators made some comment about, oh boy, Arteta's going to be so happy to have this clean sheet.
Yeah.
This clean sheet and be drawing against Leeds. Like, how is that a benchmark of happiness for the coach? Oh, he's going to be happy to keep a clean sheet. No, that's not. Like, why are you making it seem good that they're drawing 0-0 against Leeds? Like, that has no kind of bearing. Who cares about a clean sheet? They should be winning that game all day, every day.
Yeah,
I would say the same thing about us. If we had a 0-0 draw against Leeds, I'd be saying the same thing. We should be winning that all day, every day.
And the way it went down, like I understand Pepe gets sent off in like the 51st minute, but so they had to defend with 10 men for 40 minutes. But after they went down to 10 men, they were talking about how great they defended and stuff. Well, Leeds hit the woodwork 3 times. So it's kind of like our match down at Brighton. And I know there was actually goals in that. And we got the, past last minute penalty to win it 3-2. But Brighton hit the woodwork 5 times. You look at Leeds in the first half, they should have been and probably deserved to be 2 or 3-0 up going into the break. They were that dominant, I felt. And then that second half, Arsenal go down to 10 men, but Leeds hit the woodwork 3 times. And the overall defending.
And 2 of those wasn't that good. And 2 of those woodwork hits, you have any other striker, probably from any other team, and that would have been a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And the commentators were, oh, well, he was bending slightly back. No, he was in a great position. Probably any other striker would have just buried that. So it's a little bit of, sadly to say, like lack of quality on their end, that it was just woodworks instead of 1 or like you said, 3 goals.
Yeah, which is actually when Leeds got promoted, I sort of expected this. I kind of saw a lot of Norwich in them.
Where they started the season looking really, really feisty. And being able to score some goals, and you're like, oh, okay, look at them, look at they go. I said the same thing about Pukki. I was so over the moon about him.
He's back banging in the goals in the championship again. Scored this weekend, but yeah, I mean, like when they came up, like before I saw them play, I knew their style of play under Bielsa. I knew Farke's style of play at Norwich. And they both were champions coming up. So I saw there's just a lot of similarities. And then they had Patrick Bamford as their striker, who never did anything, in my opinion, in his top flight life. But then he comes out and scores, 7 goals in their first 8 games. So I'm like, well, maybe I'm wrong. But then today he was very wasteful in front of goal. So if you would think he would revert back to trend, but he could be like Pukki and just completely dry up. And if he completely dries up, where are the goals going to come from for Leeds?
Nowhere. Not enough. Like I said, and they have a lot of energy, at least in the probably initial 65, 70 minutes of the game. And they will try to, come at you. And that's, a style that for the most part, these clubs that are at the bottom are not actually trying to do to stay up. They're trying to not get destroyed against top flight teams and then fight against the bottom half. But they're like, well, no, this is what we're going to do. And I admire that about them, but they do need a little bit more quality at the top if that's going to continue to work for them, because I'm quite happy with their wing backs. wing back play. I'm quite happy with the way that they, push it up and get crosses in. They get some great crosses in the box.
Yeah.
So if your striker is not going to be, or your two top players are not going to be capitalizing on those, then it's not going to help you.
Yeah, Norwich had some great service into the box too, but if the goals dry up top, then you're going to have trouble staying up. And I'd see, and there's clear defensive frailties with Leeds as there was with Norwich last year. I mean, if I'm not
so that just shows
I'm not saying Leeds are going to get
even more.
What's that?
That just shows even more how badly Arsenal played today. Then, like if we see defensive frailties and deficiencies, how did Arsenal not take advantage of those?
Yeah, I mean, one team that I think every team that gets promoted wants to emulate is Wolves, but
okay, yeah,
you look at Wolves and recruitment was really good when they got promoted. They had a solid back three or back five, and then they had Jimenez and Jota, who were reliable goal scorers.
Yeah.
And then they added João Moutinho and Ruben Neves to add some bite and creativity in that midfield. And I think that's, the teams saw that. Then Norwich got promoted and they want to do the same thing, but Norwich didn't invest any money. Leeds got promoted. They have invested some money, but it'll be interesting to see if they can continue to pick up a win here and there and keep staying in the middle table, or if they do like Norwich and they go a huge long string where they're not scoring goals and conceding themselves, and they could find themselves in some bother. At the moment, there are 3 or 4 teams that are down there that you would say should never trouble Leeds, but you never know.
Yep.
Now, one thing you did want to talk about, I just mentioned him, Diogo Jota. Played for Wolves. I thought he was amazing for them. And then out of nowhere, Liverpool come in, get him done. I don't remember the fee off the top of my head, but I remember looking at the fee and being like, dang, they got him for that little? And he's just gone in and scored goals, created goals, plugged in.
And there was no like abundance amount of rumors about it happening either.
No.
Like there wasn't like swirlings and swirlings of, ooh, wow, they're interested in it, they're gonna go for it. None of that. And it just goes to show for me, like, I was thinking, what in the world is wrong? Like, how in the world lately, the last, I would almost say 2 to 3 seasons, Liverpool is being able to pick up these quality players for decent rates. I'm not saying low bottom, but decent price rates. And other clubs are just either 1, not paying attention, either 2, fluffing around, or either 2 or 3, just completely and utterly getting priced out by these teams. But then why are you not doing that against what is the actual league leader? Like, what, you just want to hand them the league again? You're gonna ask for the moon and the stars from one club, but the club that's already just won it, you're gonna just, oh yeah, whatever, that's fine. What? It doesn't make any sense. You don't just let them get better for easy to nothing. And I'm not just saying this out of hate for Liverpool. I do hate them, but I'm not just saying out of that. I'm just saying it. There seems like there's some conspiracy. If I was a conspiracy theorist, I'd be like, there's some conspiracy in Premier League football, because there's no logic, rhyme, or reason to it. Or is it just that other clubs are so badly doing the transfer markets and their transfer dealings right now that's why they're getting screwed? What do you think?
Well, you compare what Liverpool's been able to do, even going back under Rodgers, really. I know you and I know he just picked up a heavy 3-0 defeat today, but you and I both think Brendan Rodgers is a pretty good manager. And when he was in charge, I thought that they got some good deals done. even then. Now, when back way back when say Benitez was in charge, they did some terrible deals, and
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
terrible deals. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know who's what changed in like the back room or whatever, but it felt like since Rodgers got in charge and then he got sacked for Klopp, that they've been able to bring in some good players at a good price, and then they were able to even sell some players for fantastic fees on the other end. Like you look at Philip Coutinho or Luis Suarez, and Luis Suarez obviously went on to do well at Barcelona, but Coutinho's done next to nothing. And they got what, over £100 million for him, I believe.
Yep.
So to me, I just think it comes down to bad management when you look not just United, but even like City. Like, okay, I know when the Arab oil money came into City, in order for them to compete, they'd have to splash the cash. But
Yeah, yeah.
now that they've quote unquote arrived, they've won, what, 4 Premier League titles now.
Yeah.
They're still like, yeah, they spent £41 million for Nathan Ake. He's hardly seen the pitch recently.
Yeah. Yeah, but he
And
hasn't been that much of a revelation, so I'm glad we didn't actually get him.
yeah, well, I don't think we should have gone for him for 41 million. But then you look at us too, obviously. I mean, with Woodward and Glaziers and Matt Judge, and it's not good there either. So
Mm-hmm.
and Chelsea haven't been. They got praised for some of their summer business, at least getting it done early.
Mm-hmm.
You and I both think that they did not address all their needs, and at the end of the day, those needs will be exploited. But I think I do think Chelsea's at a better position from a transfer dealings than City or United, but
Mm-hmm.
there's just I just think it's poor management. I think it's good for Liverpool to keep their cards close to their vest and go in late to Wolves and get a quality player.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we should all be striving to do. I don't really.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives us plenty to talk about to have all these rumors floating about 357 different players. But
Well,
but
I think part of the issue with that is this. I think there's a two-part problem there. Unlike Liverpool, United is able to garner vast majority more interest in the international market. So if people are trying to get clickbaits, if people are trying to make news, if people are doing articles, who cares what's happening with Liverpool? Their fans are not going to be reading that shit. They could care less. But United is way easier to kind of sell. So they're going to try to do all they can to talk about people that could be and would be linked to United because they know that will draw in interest. The other issue is this. I think we do have a bad kind of a scheme of using these stuff from a marketing standpoint. So he wants the press to be talking about certain things because he wants the marketing to be generated to boost kind of like share prices and things. So I think it's a counterproductive kind of actions on our part, but one that Ed Woodward likes to do.
I think
that makes sense.
I think those are two very provocative points, and thinking about them, I actually 100% agree with both. Honestly, I think the papers do just pull our name in because it's going to get clicks. Felt that for a long time.
Or going to get views, or going to get read, whether it's paper or online. It's going to get read.
Liverpool
we have a vast majority more interest than Liverpool.
I mean, Liverpool have a big following, but not nearly as big as United. So even people who there's so many people who hate United that they're even going to click on it. So you get so much click, and you're right. There was some article I read recently that said that Ed Woodward's is back towards the end of the transfer window. That Ed Woodward's getting all worked up because there's too many rumors floating about players, and I could see Ole being upset about that. But I think deep down, Ed Woodward's liking it because it builds brand awareness, which helps drive up advertising revenue and marketing revenue from other companies signing on to be commercial partners. Which is like maybe the one thing he might be good at, is getting commercial partnerships, getting those companies to throw us millions to have their name put on a training kit, or scrolling by on the boards around the stadium. So I think that is those are both really good points, and I think that's pretty much where we're at right now. But the curtain is now closing on the theater of football. I want to thank Jeremy for joining me. I'm Mike Hodum. Let us know your thoughts on everything we said. We put a lot out there. Hit us up on Twitter at Theater of Football and let us know what you think. Jeremy, thank you. And to everyone, good night. Oh, hello. Thank you for watching the Theater of Football. If you think Mike got it wrong yet again, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below.